Welcome to another episode of Universal Talks. For today, I have a very special guest, Jennifer Passavant, who is a holistic healer with a decade of professional experience. Her modalities are, is it alchemical? Correct me. You explain yourself. Explain yourself.
Okay. Yes. So the beings that I work with gave me the name alchemical channeled alchemical energy healing is the modality that was the name of the modality that they gave me, meaning I'd been doing the modality, but I was changing things, and that was after giving me the new logo, they gave me that name. And the reason why I think they chose alchemical healing is because alchemy is spiritual, well, it's transformation on all levels, right? You're alchemizing things, you're alchemizing your lower aspects and wounds and traumas and unhealed things on all levels, including physical, mental, emotional, all of
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
spiritual. And so it just seemed very fitting. So I refer to myself as a holistic healer
Right.
uh, because I work on mind, mind, body, soul. Um, but I use the modalities of intuitive spiritual life coaching, health and wellness coaching, and then my own personal modality of
Yeah.
channeling beings for doing energy healing, and we work primarily on the chakras. So that's kind of the meat and taters, Reader's Digest version of what we
Okay.
do.
Yeah, I love that. And so what got you started with all of this work?
You just, okay, how do I deliver this
I know
okay.
it's a big
Uh,
one.
yeah, I'm going to try to give you the
The
shortest
lifetime of experience, but
version. Yeah, well, quite seriously, quite
yes,
seriously.
yes.
So it all started. Um, I'm trying to figure out the like where it would be the best place to start. But I guess I'll
Yeah.
say, I did kind of have um, I always refer to these as bugs up my butt. Um, and they're like just, that I can't ignore that I failed to follow, right?
Yeah.
And I always thought that they were my idea. And then later I learned that no, these are like my higher self and my guys going, this is what you need to do. This is your path. But
Yes.
I had a bug up my butt back in like late high school to know God.
Mm.
And I kind of just started this search, and my first approach was through dogmatic Christianity, the very, oh, you've got demons around you and you can't do
Mhm.
yoga because it's worshiping evil spirits and, all that stuff. And just, I became terrified of God, like
Mhm.
terrified of God.
Common,
And
yeah.
the great thing is then one day I was so miserable and so afraid that anything I thought or said could piss off God that I was like, I am miserable. If God is love, why am I so terrified of God? This doesn't make any sense.
No,
This doesn't make sense. And
no.
so I started asking questions, and I started getting like intuitive answers, but I wouldn't like to those answers. I just thought, oh, well, maybe that's kind of what it is. And then I started being guided to books and speakers, and it just kind of, snowballed. And I started kind of being guided to different paths like Hinduism, Buddhism, paganism, um, Kabbalah, and all, and seeing how they all
All connect, yeah.
connect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then while all of that was happening, I went to an energy healing session with a friend of mine where he was the energy healer, and we had just met and we were getting to know each other. And he's like, do you want me to do an energy healing? And I'm like, okay.
Sure.
And while he was doing the energy healing, I heard a voice say, just relax. I went, okay. So and all of a sudden, I was put in this state where I had never been so relaxed before in my life. And I was like being breathed, where someone was controlling my breathing.
Wow.
And it became very um, deep and rapid. And all of a sudden, I started feeling like tingling in my hands and legs. And of course, that's like when you have too much oxygen in your system, but oxygen is
Right.
what prana or chi rides on, right?
Mhm. Correct.
And I was like, I don't know who this is or where this is going. I
Was it your voice or was it like what was the voice like?
no, it was like a masculine sounding voice, not too
Mm.
deep, and it was in my left ear, and it was like, just relax. I'm like, and I knew that he was bringing through guides because he had told me, he said, you've got like this revolving door of guides putting energy into this chi ball that he then put into my forehead, which felt real weird because I could feel it go in.
Yeah.
But after that experience, anytime I would go to an energy healer and get healing, I would be put in that state.
Mm.
So then I thought, okay, whoever said that is trying to get me somewhere to a different level or a different
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And so I finally went to this other energy healer and I said, okay, look, I'm going to tell you this weird story, but here's what I need you to do. Can you just run energy? And I'm going to start breathing real weird and I don't know what's going to happen, but can you just do that for me? And she said, well, I'm getting that you can do this yourself. And I said, I think you're right, but I think it'll only be true after you run this energy.
Mm.
So she did, and my breathing changed. And then I saw this white light inside, like it was weird because my eyes were closed, but so like inside, I saw this white light go up and out. And then that was it. I got real cold and curled up. And then after that, anytime I'd meditate, I would be put in that state.
Wow.
And then later, I got into Esther Hicks. So sorry, I cannot do this in a Reader's Digest for this is like a
No,
short.
I love it. I'm loving
Okay.
it.
Um, I was listening to Esther Hicks, and they have this album. I think it's called Abraham's Teachings or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And at the very beginning, Jerry and Esther are talking about how she came to channel Abraham and how she was told to go home and meditate. And so they did. Jerry and Esther went home and meditated for 15 minutes, 3 times in a row. And on the third time, she said, all of a sudden it was like I was being breathed. And then Jerry said, yeah, it was like you were in a state of ecstasy.
Ooh.
And my jaw dropped. I'll never forget it because I was in the bathroom putting like my makeup on or washing my face or something. And I just went, holy shit. Is that what's happening? And so I contacted all of my weirdo friends that are intuitive and channel, and they were
Yeah.
like, yep, you're channeling. And then I still couldn't believe it. So I went to like one of those psychic expo things,
Hmm.
and I saw two that I had already seen several times before, so I knew they were legitimate. And they were like, yeah, you're channeling, a being that's like an archangel, and you're gonna, this is like your life's purpose. You're gonna, do this. They said I would do it in England. That has not happened yet, but come
Ooh.
on.
Yes. Love that.
But anyway, I just kind of went from there. And then he started moving me. I will never forget this. He started moving me, like moving my head
Mm.
on, it was December 25th, 2013, because we had no power and I had nothing else to do but meditate. And then it was New Year's Eve that he started vocalizing through me.
Wow.
And it was weird because I was meditating on my bed, and all of a sudden it was like, yeah, 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 wah, wah, wah. And he started going through like all the vowels and
Uh-huh.
different sounds. But the yeah, yeah, yeah was him trying to say his name out of my mouth, but he'd never been in a human before.
I
So
got chills.
I know it's really cool. So he refers to himself as Ian. He gave himself that name as a nod to like my Scottish heritage, of which I have very little amount, but I
Mhm.
connect with it very deeply.
Yeah, same. Me too.
Oh, really? Oh, that's very
Yeah.
cool.
I have a lot of Scottish Irish, but yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And so Ian is Scottish or Gaelic for John, and John means gift from God. I know. And then later, Kuan Yin showed up. So if your audience doesn't know who Kuan Yin is,
Yes, please.
oh crap. I guess I'll take this off the wall. Yeah. Well, that's all I think I have in my office. Like she's all around my house, but this is
Yep.
Kuan Yin. It's hard to get the anyway. There's a lot of
Hmm. Yeah.
reflections.
Yeah. Yeah.
She is the Buddhist goddess of compassion and mercy. She's an ascended master, and so she's in the Brotherhood of the Great White Brotherhood, along with Yeshua. That was
There
weird.
you are. Dude, that was weird.
And I'm directly connected through Ethernet. Anyway, well, we're back. That's what's important.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, she's like the warm, watery, feminine aspect, and he's like the electrical, masculine aspect. But
Yeah.
they come in through the back of my heart chakra, and they
Okay.
move my physical body and send their respective energies through me One is usually more forward than the other, and I can tell who's forward based on what's going on with my hands because she likes to use mudras and things, and he likes to use the sign of benediction.
Okay.
And they work on people's chakras and energy fields. So I didn't think that channeling, excuse me, that energy healing was going to be a part of the deal until he started like doing it while I was practicing channeling because I had to kind of work my way up to being able to channel him um, through me because he's very high frequency.
Yeah.
And so it was a really interesting process getting to the point of where we could 100% merge.
So like,
Um,
at this point, were you just doing the channels for yourself, or were you doing it for clients at this point?
no, at this point I was still practicing having him speak through me, and it was always like I had to build up a lot of energy in order for that to happen, for him to speak out of my mouth. And
Yeah.
so now they speak more in my mind where they'll like either it's much more how should I say intuitive instead of external, where they'll
Yeah.
deliver the
Yeah.
information and then I just say it because it just requires a lot of energy for him to speak through me
Hmm.
orally.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the energy healing though, it how should I say this? I have to use my breath and really be very conscious of my breath in order to channel that energy. But it's how should I say this? That is actually energizing. Whereas when he's speaking through me, it requires a lot more energy, and I don't know why that is, but um,
Yeah. Probably just our human bodies can only handle so much.
I get, and
Yeah.
he would always scrunch because he's so big
Massive. Yeah.
that he would scrunch my face up really tight and my eyeballs would hurt. And so I think it's just
Ooh.
more comfortable for both of us to
Yeah.
just do it this
Yeah.
way. So yeah.
So like, how do you use that and integrate that into your current healing?
Yeah. So when it comes to the intuitive guide, so what started happening, and this was before the channeling and all that was, it started out where um I was at the grocery store, and this is a true story. Uh I got into the grocery store and this not voice, it wasn't a voice, it was like almost like a claircognizance
For
sort of
sure.
thing.
Yeah.
And it was this, if for any of you, and I know you'll be able to recognize this feeling of this, like you feel pushed or compelled to go somewhere or say something or do
Yep.
something, right?
Oh yeah.
And there's that feeling of if you don't do it, it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
And so it was this go to the something or other aisle. And I usually joke and say it was the toilet paper aisle, but it was probably like the condiment aisle or something. I don't remember, but it was like something like condiments or soup or something really mundane. And as soon as I got there, I felt pulled to this one particular person. And I knew that I was supposed to say something, but I had no idea what. And so I had to try to engage in conversation with them, like initiate it and engage in it. And then all of a sudden, they started talking about some issue that they were having, some struggle that they were going through. And then all of a sudden, it was like this, I hate to use this overused word, but it is relatively accurate, this download of
Oh
all
yeah.
the things that I need to
Yeah.
say. And
Yep.
I would say it, and I could tell that it would create a shift in them.
Hmm.
And that would happen like I said, on the internet. I remember it happened in a coffee shop. It happened when I was doing promotional modeling in a liquor store. That was weird.
Yeah.
Um, and that's kind of where that it started, but I never saw it as a business until again I woke up with another bug up my butt. And this was the same year, it was later that year that I realized I was channeling, where I woke up with a bug up my butt going, I want to live my life's purpose. I want to experience my greatest joy and bliss. What is that supposed to look like? And then well, it was about a week and a half, 2 weeks, I got a message from one of these people that I met online that I had that same experience with, and they were thanking me for changing his life. And I sat down and bawled my brains out.
Oh yeah.
And then a week and a half later, another person. And mind you, I had met these people like 2, 3 years prior. Years had passed since I'd spoken
Yeah.
to these
Oh
people.
yeah. Yeah.
And he reached out and said, I was contemplating suicide. I was in a really dark place, but you saved me. And this got me real hard. He said, if you ever wonder if anyone out there thinks of you as an angel, just know that I do. And it was like,
Wow.
oh,
Oh,
lost it.
Oh,
And then it was like this is the degree of impact that I want to have on people's lives. I want to help people like this. But what is this? Like, what do you even call this?
oh yeah.
A week and a half later, my best friend at the time was like, "Hey, someone approached me about being a life coach, and I thought of you." I'm like, "What the? It's a life coach, first of all, because it was a very new thing at the time, and secondly, is there such a thing as is this weird sort of intuitive, spiritual focused life? Is like that like a thing?" So
Right,
I,
especially then, yeah, it's so new.
yeah,
Yeah.
and but I searched it, and it was a thing. I'm like, okay, and then a few months later, it was all this, channeling thing, and then later in 2014 it was learning how should I say this, learning to allow him or them to do energy healing through me, and then having to learn other modalities to recognize what they were doing through me. And so, but I'd already started the life coaching business, and then later, so about a year later, when I finally felt ready to bring forward the energy healing, that came out. And then 2014 and 13 were like two huge years in my life. So 2013, I'd been into holistic health and like nutrition and herbs and stuff since I was in the seventh grade.
Hmm.
And I finally was like, why am I not certified in this? I know all of this stuff. I should have like something that says I know all of this stuff. And so I started my holistic health practitioner training. Then I applied in 2013. It
Hmm.
started in early 2014. So like 2013, 2014 were big years.
Big,
I
yeah.
started incorporating that in my business just only a couple of years ago because I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I have that certification. It's a passion of mine. I love it. Why not do mind, body, soul? And I'll just add that as a session. So
Yeah.
long story long. That's it.
I love that. I love that. So I feel like when we connected years ago, you were more focused on like angel healing. So it makes sense of how just hearing all these steps, how it all just like led up to this current. Because again, we talked before about titles and how do we present ourselves as a quantum healer or an alchemist for me, it's an energy transmuter because same, working retail all my life and just different jobs and almost verbatim that experience. Like I need to go talk to this person and then just I don't know what just happened. They're like, I don't know why I just said that. It's
Yeah,
just-
yeah, yeah.
and then over
So
the years, you're like, I know why. It's okay. It's all good.
yeah, so tell
So,
me more about your story. How did you come across the quantum healing? How did that become a thing?
um, I've been spiritual all my life. I say I was one of those born awares.
Hmm.
I was never, my mom is very hippie. So like, I was never like, it's your imagination. Shut that off. It's not real. She would be like, ooh, tell me more. Tell me more. And so like,
Good.
I was able to expand at a very young age. But then life happened. I got married, had a kid young, and so I had to get into the real world and make some good money. So I was working retail and management, but still having all of these experiences and healings. And then just, what was it, 2017? Yeah, I think that was like the big solar eclipse was in 2017.
Mhm.
Just, I couldn't even tell you what happened, but like BQH, Beyond Quantum Healing came up, Dolores Cannon, just all of the quantumness found me. And then the world shut down in 2020. And so I had an opportunity to actually like just do it for a business. And here I am. Here I am.
Wow.
But
I
it's
swear, I swear that was one of the best years of my life. It really was.
2020,
Yeah, so
100%,
great.
100%. And it would drive people nuts. I'm like, 2020 was the best year of my life.
It
Best
really,
year.
truly was.
I
Yeah.
left
Those are the
corporate,
best
started
years.
my business. I got
Yeah.
full custody of my son. I got just a lot. We moved. It was a huge year, huge year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was so good. I mean, nothing for me beats, I think, 2013. I think that's probably the biggest, but 2020 is a very close
Mhm.
second
And
for
I've
me.
heard around after 2012, around that Mayan calendar ending, a lot of us healers had a spontaneous awakening during that time too.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh,
I
how
love
cool.
I love that synchronicity.
Yeah.
So, like, what would you say is your philosophy on health and wellness?
My philosophy, I would say the meat and taters, well, I guess I have a couple of aspects. One is that everybody has the possibility. the potential to transform their lives. Whether it's transforming your health, healing all of your wounds and becoming the healed version of yourself, whatever it is. But the main thing, though, is self-empowerment and taking responsibility.
Oh yeah.
Because,
Accountability is huge. Yeah.
yes, accountability. And I think that's why I like my approach, because it's the approach I had to take for in my life with
Mhm.
myself.
Yeah.
Like, you can see all the healers in the world you want, but they kind of, and when I became a healer, how should I say this? When I became a healer, it was something that I had to um then make very personal for me. But when you're observing healers from the outside and you think, oh, this person's a healer, they can heal me. And
Yeah.
so while I was doing my internal healing, and I didn't realize that I kind of didn't, how should I say this? Sometimes I didn't realize that that's what I was doing. And it wasn't until later that I realized, oh, I'm actively like healing myself.
Yeah.
That really all healers do is kind of get your energetic ball rolling, but you are solely responsible for then healing the cause of whatever led up to that energetic imbalance, whether it was physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. And so now when I work with my clients, I make sure to make that very clear. Like, I'm not here to do any of your healing for you. I'm here to help you facilitate your own healing and empower you with the ability to do the deep transformation that will lead to permanent transformation. But
Exactly.
you have to put in the work. I can't make you do it.
Period. Yeah. All it's cliche, but all healing is self-healing. And it's something that was hard for me to use that label of healer because it sounds so like I'm doing it. I'm doing it for
Yes.
you. And same thing with
Yes.
energy transmuter. Like, can't you just, it says that even in your website, you can just manipulate energy. I'm like, yes, but it's more of like holding and creating container for you to do the work that you need to do. So it's tricky to explain for sure. It's getting easier to because more and more people are just more understanding of this.
Hmm.
So it's great. I love it.
Yeah, definitely.
So how, like, say someone wants to work with you right now, what would
Mhm.
be the process of you helping this client heal? What does that look like? What's a session with Jennifer look like?
Um, it depends on what session they
I was going to
book.
say you had many, many options. I visited
Yeah.
your website before this. Yeah.
So with any energy healing session, there's always an intuitive spiritual life coaching aspect that happens right immediately after. So like the first 10, 15 minutes is the energy healing portion.
Mhm. Okay.
And then the rest is like, because I don't like to know anything going into an energy healing session. I don't want to know anything about you.
Okay.
Um, and that's because, well, it's a few reasons. One, but and most importantly, it's so that whatever does come up in the healing, whatever I pick up as we are doing the healing, if I say it to you, but you've already told me
Use a little bit of credibility. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So I'd rather not know anything. And
I
that way,
like
when
that.
it comes up, it would be like, I didn't tell her that, but she still picked up on it. Now, I don't get details, so I don't get like, your brother called you stupid when you were 3 and it's sitting in your heart chakra. Like, I don't get that. But I do get like general ideas of the types of things because it can be compounded, right? It can be multiple things sitting in one chakra.
For
I
sure.
can I can get if it's happening now and is something that has happened in the past. So like it's something that's happening now that reflects something that has already happened to you. I can get if there's a physical issue that's also going on in that area, and they will try to use my body to like give me an indication of the nature of the physical thing, whether it's like digestive upset or like, muscle tension or, whatever it is. Um, and then, at the end of the healing is when I want the people to go to tell me, like, what in the world did we find? What were we working on? Because I don't want to break the channel by having them interrupt me with details and information and going on about whatever it is.
Okay.
Just tell me if I've hit the nail on the head or if I'm completely full of crap while I'm doing the healing. And then later you can, after the end of the healing, we can do go into detail. And
Right.
that's when the life coaching starts. And so what, how we were talking earlier about, as someone would be talking to me about their issues, I would get information about A, what to say, and B, like the cause of the issue, the root wound,
Yep.
etc. So that's how I do the life coaching part. So
Okay.
it's like you tell me your issue, what your problem is, and as you're talking, I get intuitive information. But what I learned though is when it comes to helping people learn the cause of it, they have taught me not to just spoon feed people. Rather, they've taught me to take what I've intuitively received and put it in the form of a question so that they can become self-aware of the same thing I have been made intuitively aware. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, that does make sense.
Because it's much more impactful when they become aware of it themselves, when they can see it for
Right.
themselves, than when you just spoon feed it to them.
Hmm.
And so that's how I usually conduct that sort of thing. And then other times it'll be like, okay, now say this to the person. The person needs to hear these words in order to create like an energetic shift.
Hmm.
So with the energy healing session, you get both of those. Or if you, because all of these aspects are connected, right? So whether you pick
Right.
a life, an energy healing session or just a life coaching session where you come and be like, okay, I have this issue with this relationship, my boss, my career, my life's purpose, my spiritual gifts, my, whatever it is, the same type of healing will take place, right? Energetic shifts will still occur. But it just gives me a few more minutes to kind of provide some of that guidance and support, and teach people techniques, and give people tools to work on their own inner transformation.
Hmm.
Um, and then with a life coaching session, there's like a form that people fill out beforehand. So I have some idea as to what they're looking to change and heal. And I know what their supplements they're taking. I know what diet they're eating. I know how much they exercise. And I know what medications they're taking, which is really important because
Yes.
some medications, they can't take certain supplements with it. They can't eat certain things, and they can cause certain medical issues that they might be suffering from that they don't know could be a result of having taken those medications. There's a lot of reasons why I need that.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And so between them filling out the form and the time of the session, I'm researching all of the stuff that they've told me. And then during the session, I go over everything that I've discovered. I might have to ask them a few more questions, get some more clarification. And then after the session, I write up all of the recommendations and suggestions and then send them those take a lot for me. They take a lot more time and energy, but I
I'm
still love
sure.
them.
Yeah, that sounds beautiful. So all this is mainly done online, I'm guessing?
It's all done online, which I love. And I learned that my energy healing sessions are much more powerful. They're more potent, and they're less draining for me when I do them online. It was a really weird
And
experience, but
yeah, I have
I
a
learned a lot of
video
things.
out that I talked with a fellow friend practitioner, and we were talking about the difference of in-person and online work and how it's almost more palpable online because everyone's in their own space and the comfort of their own everything. So it just makes sense.
Yeah, and I
Okay, I'll
don't do
link
it
it
on
in the video. Yeah.
yeah, and I don't do it on Zoom. I do it over the phone so that
Oh,
I can't even be
okay.
distracted by because I found that if I'm focusing on someone, if I'm looking at them, um, it takes my focus away from just channeling the energy and just doing the work.
Interesting.
And so if I'm on the phone and I can't see them, I can just focus on pulling in the energy, moving, allowing them to move my body, I can focus better on what I'm paying attention to what I'm receiving and making sure I'm interpreting it accurately.
Hmm.
Um, and then when it comes to the life coaching part, I start pacing. Like I might go back and forth or walk in a circle, and it's like
But
a
yeah, it's
walking.
hard for me to sit here.
Yeah, it becomes I learned it's a walking meditation
I
and
love that.
allows me to focus again more on what I'm receiving and focus on what I'm hearing. I'm not having to be distracted by having to focus my attention on looking at the person.
That is fascinating. That's so fascinating.
Yeah, I don't
Hmm.
know.
So let's,
You do yours online too, then, right? Or do you do yours in person as well?
it can be either way. BQH is usually online, but it can totally be done in person too. I prefer it online myself, but I am getting to the point where I'm going to start offering in person again just because I want to connect more with the community and the people around. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's such a beautiful option, and it's just so palpable. Like it's
Yeah.
just why. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Well, I like that we're not limited to who we can serve then.
Yeah.
That to me makes the
Because
big
usually you'll notice that your clients aren't even from your country. Like a lot of,
yes.
and that's the best part to me. I just love connecting with everyone and just putting those little pinpoints of light all around the world, and just I love it.
Yeah, it's very cool. And I learned too for me when I started doing in-person events because I would do like expos and things like that.
Yeah.
And I thought, how am I going to do this when I learned that it's more powerful and it's better when I do it remotely? And
Yeah.
I heard them, they didn't like say it, but it was like put in my head, just do what you do at home at the event while they're sitting there right next to you. So when I do in-person events, I'm not working on their physical body. I have them sit in a chair and I stand next to them as if I'm standing in my office or standing in my living room, and I work on their etheric body, their etheric mini me, while
Mhm.
they're sitting next to me. Because it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, because I offer, you can call it Reiki, but again, with titles, I don't like calling it that
Yeah,
because it has just a stigma with it. And
it
people
is. Yeah.
understand how it can be done online. So it's just, I do the same thing. I'll have like just a imaginary body next to me, and I would do it right here. And it's no different. They can feel it. I can feel it here. I can feel it there. I'm like, exactly. Like it's quantum.
Uh, well, and that's the thing that blows my mind. And if I find it, how should I say this? I find it interesting when people make the assumption that if it has to be in person in order to be powerful.
Mhm.
And what I have to explain to them is that it's quantum, it's multidimensional. Energy is not bound by time and space. And in fact, trying to bind it into time and space creates a limitation for it. And I think
Yeah.
that's why, or at least it's my assumption or my theory as to why it's more impactful when you can take away the distractions of the physical.
hmm Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just also the client understanding that this transformation is happening in your home. Like you don't have to go to a special temple or go like
Yeah.
that. It's a beautiful thing. I was going to ask what you think are some of the biggest misconceptions of our work, because I think that's one of the biggest ones. So we answered that. That was my next question.
Yeah. Well, and the other one we've already also touched on, and that is the assumption that the energy healer does the healing for
Yes.
you.
Yep.
And so until what I tell my clients is that until you understand that you are responsible for doing your own inner work, and
Mhm.
no one can do that for you, no one can take that responsibility away from you,
No.
you will continue what I refer to as healer hopping if you keep placing
Yes.
that expectation outside of yourself.
I agree. Yeah. And I mean, it's really no different than doctors don't heal people. Like it's they're prescribing a medicine to help. They're giving surgery, they're mending, they're aiding, but they're not some magical beings that's just fucking fixing everything. So it's
Right,
just like
right.
words, people. I understand.
Yes. Well, and even in terms of like, let's say you see like a health and wellness coach or a nutritionist or a dietitian, they're not going to go into your home and throw away all of the unhealthful foods and then force feed you all the food that you should be eating.
Nope, nope. I agree. Let's see, what else? What challenges have you faced being a healer?
Um, certainly, oh, what is the word? Imposter syndrome.
Oh my God, yeah.
That's my biggest, that's my biggest challenge
Yeah,
is imposter syndrome and overcoming that. That's my kryptonite. That's my
I
biggest one.
resonate. I would agree with, yeah, it's hard because it's like a very fluctuating energy of like, oh my God, I'm powerful, I'm capable, I'm doing all this. Like, who am I? Like, I'm just me.
Yes.
So
And
yeah.
you're right. I hadn't really kind of put together until you just said it that it is like this ebb and flow of I've got this, I can do this, I have something to offer. I've helped people and I've have evidence that I have helped people.
Mhm.
And then those days of, you know, who am I to be
Right.
doing this? Like, what do I really offer anything of value?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's a biggie for sure.
hmm
How do you maintain your energy? Like, what is your self-care?
um, eating well, obviously, because I'm a,
Yep.
health and wellness coach,
Yep.
or consultant, as I prefer to refer to myself as. But also breath work and meditation. And breath work is, I think, even more important
I
than
agree.
it's so it has,
It's the
and
foundation behind like any modality.
it
Any.
is.
So I
Yeah.
think maybe in one of our next future videos, if you will come back, we can maybe do a little breathwork workshop. That would be cool.
Oh, that would be cool. And it was so integral because even the way Ian started working through me was initially by forcing me to breathe in a certain way.
Hmm.
And that's what taught me how important breathwork was. And then when I would channel him, once I knew I was channeling and, whatever, he would have me do certain breathing techniques that I later would learn was like an actual pranayama with like a name.
Yeah, I love that. That's like me in yoga. Like I've been doing poses my entire life, apparently, because when I started just this past few years, like religiously doing it and training, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I've been doing that pose all my life. I've been doing
Oh,
this
wow.
all my life. And it's yeah, just one of those another synchronistic quantum entanglements of just this is what
Wow.
you're supposed to be doing. You're on the right path. I love
Yeah.
I love that.
Wow. Do you teach yoga as well, or are you just a
No,
practitioner?
not really. Like I have some videos out there, but
Okay.
I'm not certified to teach or anything like that. No.
Oh, okay.
Not yet. Maybe. Maybe. You never know. Because I am a yogi. It's every day. I cannot not do yoga. It's
Yeah.
it's a lifestyle. So, what advice would you give for other healers out there? Especially like maybe ones who are
Hmm.
thinking about starting a practice or
Yeah. Well, and speaking of which, I do offer, because
Hmm,
I had to learn myself how to do my own business
same.
from just a business standpoint, right? Just the
Yep.
meat and taters basics of a business.
Hmm.
And then I have other friends that were interested in starting their own business, and some of them were in the, spiritual and healing industry, and others were not. But, I remember how it was when I had to teach these things to myself and like research myself how to do certain things. And so I had been helping my friends start their own businesses and like to know what to do and how do you schedule clients? How do you take payment? Where do you make a website?
Yeah.
How do you file for a DBA? How do you do, where do you make your marketing materials? Blah 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 blah, blah. All these like real basic but extremely important things.
Oh yeah.
And so after helping a number of friends with that, I decided to just start offering that as a session type for
Oh, perfect.
newbies.
Okay.
But um but in terms of like just how to start out, I would say with two things. One, because it takes, I mean, it's still a work, I'm still a work in progress. Working on your imposter syndrome is step one.
Yes.
Um, remembering that you are not going to get paid for the value of your gifts and abilities. You are getting paid for the value of your time and the value of the energy that it takes to give that service, right? So
That's
like if
been a
you
big
get,
one for me. Yeah. That was a
yeah,
huge one for me. Because I've been doing
me
this free all
too.
my life. Yeah.
Me too. Because and I think just based on what you said, and I would love to hear your story. When I first started taking money for what I was doing was almost impossible. And I will never forget my very first paid session. It was crickets. I got nothing because I had my own block about receiving money for my gift.
Yeah.
And I had to shift out of that belief system and remember they're not paying me for my gift. They're paying for me for the value of my time and the energy that
Hmm.
it takes to offer my service.
Right.
And so when I first started off, I started offering or charging, excuse me, like $20. And I started only attracting people who didn't see value in what I had to offer. And they would even be like, well, $20, that's a lot. I can't afford that. And they just wanted it for free. And so, how do I want to say this? I would say not only is it important to bear in mind that you're not getting paid for the value of your gifts and abilities, you're getting paid for, like a bricklayer. A bricklayer, it takes energy and it takes time to lay bricks,
Mhm.
right? They're
Yeah,
not getting paid for the skill of how to do the bricklaying. They are, but it's the time that it takes for them to do it and the energy put forth in providing that service.
correct.
No difference between that and what we're doing. So get that bit sorted, but then really look at what is the value of your time and your energy. Because if you undervalue yourself, you will attract those who also undervalue you. That was a huge lesson for me. So I want to hear your story about that.
Oh, I agree. Even to this day, it's really hard to when you just want to give and you have so much to give, but then you have to have that business cap on of like, wait, no, shit, this is my livelihood. This is what I'm my own brand, my own everything. And that's what you're providing. It's not, as you said, you're not healing the person. So it's more of you're providing an energy space. Like it's hard for me to talk money because it is such a
Hmm.
mundane thing. Like it really drives me nuts. And it's something that I've not so much struggled with over the years, but like I've always been very abundant, no matter what I'm doing in my life, whether I'm stocking a shelf or I'm management or I'm a business owner, like I'm just always have and surrounded by beauty. So that enough is a testament that money is there. It always will be had. And for me, choosing my price was the hardest thing. It was the hardest thing because, first of all, BQH sessions take like 3 to 4 hours. That's a huge commitment.
Uh-huh.
The price, to me, that amount of time, $333, is not that much for 3 to 4 hours. So it's just
No.
like for me, like, why am I having such a hard time knowing that I would pay this? I would pay this. Others will do this. Others will do this. And then, like you said, if you put out that limited app of worthiness,
Hmm.
that's what you're going to attract. So raise the prices, be
Yes.
confident, know your
Yes.
worth, and stick
Yes.
to it because there's so much money out there in the world. So
Yeah.
much money. So again, if you are in the frequency of I don't deserve this or they can't afford this, that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get. So just
Nailed it.
you just have to believe in yourself and everyone else will. It sounds so cliche, but all those bumper sticker sayings are so true. They're so
It
true.
really is. I had to go through an evolution. Like I had to go from like $20 to like 50 to 75 to
Yeah.
120. I had to like build up my comfort level. And
I'm about to raise my prices again, honestly, just because it's my work and myself is expanding with the world. So it's just like it's not just what it used to be. It's so much more. So
yeah,
we'll see. But
yeah.
speaking of, like, what are your future aspirations with your business or with your life? What's going on?
Ooh, well, I mean, I still have my day job because I want my full retirement, which I should get in like 2 years. But I am looking forward to expanding my business to the degree where when I'm ready to retire, this is what I have as my supplemental income.
Hmm.
Um, but I would like to expand my reach, and I'm still kind of, how shall I say, waiting for the universe to synchronistically bring me how that would happen, because I was told I'd be doing my healing work in England. And I don't know if that means like literally physically in England
True.
or if
True.
I would have a lot of clients there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I look forward to expanding my reach and broadening or I guess increasing the number of sessions that I offer so that I can go through okay, I'm ready to let go of my
I saw that. I definitely saw that.
I actually get that relatively frequently. I did a podcast this last Monday, because I didn't have my day job on Monday, and so I did it wasn't a podcast. It was really actually just a conversation about doing a podcast.
Okay.
And this gal's, I think she's in California, and I usually set up my all of this stuff ahead of time and then sit in front and make sure like, okay, you can see the sign, my lights
Right.
are on, and I don't look like a Picasso. Great. Um, beforehand, so I'll open up like a self meeting, in Zoom. And before, like when I was in the process of doing that before it started, I saw two orbs. It
I
was really cool.
Get
And
it
normally
recorded.
no, I wasn't
Ah,
recording because I was just checking to make sure like everything looked right.
right, right.
Like I had no reason to record it, but
Love
but
capturing that shit.
I have a video. I think I have it on my YouTube channel. I think I have to double check. If it's not my YouTube channel, it's the Hearts of Change Collective YouTube channel, of where it was during one particular video that we were recording, and it was the same orb kept popping up throughout the video, and so I cut out just those sections and made a
Oh.
video of just those orbs. It was very
If
cool.
you find it, send it to me and I'll put it in the link in the description for sure.
Okay,
That's
okay.
really
Well,
cool.
that was cool. What were we talking about?
Future aspirations.
Oh God. Okay.
I
I'm
do
like, I
vision
don't
that,
even
yes.
remember. Okay,
But I'm
good.
with you. Like, I think one of my callings, like for you, England, for me, it's Australia. For some reason, I've always had like,
Oh,
I don't know what it is. And then I've had like over the years connections with people there. So it's just whether I'm going to be there physically, I don't know because my heart is in Kauai. One day I know I will live in Kauai, but we'll
okay.
we'll see.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, I love
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
Let's see, a fun question to start ending this. If you had a superpower, what would it be and how would you help the world with it?
If I had a superpower, it would be it would be to be able to deprogram the wounding out of everybody's subconscious minds, all that trauma, all that wounding, and reprogram them with their healed aspect, with the positive opposite. I would be a multi-bazillionaire, but obviously no one has actually achieved this. But yeah, I would if that could be my superpower, that would be my superpower.
I love that. I love that. Let's see. What is one of the most surprising things you've
Well, wait,
encountered?
what do you want? What would your
My
superpower?
superpower?
Yeah, what would your superpower be?
Hmm. I mean, my selfish self wants to fly. I don't know how that's going to help the world.
I don't know either, but we'll figure it out. We got time.
Um, I think it would just to be kind of similar to yours, just to be able to like, tap into a person and let them see their essence, let them see beyond the bullshit, beyond the meat suit. Just remember. I want people to remember. Just be like, boop.
Yeah, yeah. I
That
feel
would
like
be
that's in a movie somewhere.
it.
I feel like I've seen a movie where someone like
Oh,
touches someone on a forehead and all of a sudden they come to this great,
I'm thinking of it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I don't
I don't
know.
know what it is, but it sounds
Maybe
familiar.
maybe it's just us. Maybe it's our future.
It could be. But that sounds really freaking cool.
I
Yeah,
love that.
that sounds amazing. Okay, sorry.
What did I say? Oh,
You
was
asked
one
another
one of the
question.
most surprising things that you've encountered being a healer?
Uh I didn't know that I was opening myself up to visitations from
Mm.
numerous types of beings.
Ooh, let's talk about that next time too.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming, but it's like once the floodgates open, it's like at night especially it'd be like Grand Central Station. But
Yeah,
yeah,
to this
I
day.
just had a visitation the other day too. It was really interesting.
Oh, that's very rampant. There's so many shifts going on right now. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my
And
God.
the gal, remember I was just telling you that I was kind of talking to a gal, and before that there were a couple of orbs.
Yeah.
Well, after when she and I were done talking, we got to talking about, types of beings that we've encountered in visitations, be it in astral or like when they show up in your bedroom, as they often do for me.
Mhm.
Um, she said, "Well, I just heard that you're going to get a visitation tonight." And I was thinking, it's been a while. I doubt it. Nope, sure did. So that's
Wow.
kind of neat. Yeah, but yeah, that'd be a fun conversation to share
Absolutely.
visitation stories.
Yeah, because don't think many people talk about it besides healers and stuff like that, but like there's regular people out there who are having these experiences. They're like, I don't know who to tell, or I don't know what to
Yeah, for
crazy.
sure.
So
Yeah.
that's
I,
interesting.
I would love to also at some point have a conversation about star seeds and
Oh
starseedism.
yes. Yes.
Um,
Yes.
only because I have had to come to a very different understand. And when I say I had to, I mean I had to come to a different understanding of what that is and what that means than what is typically um, presented in the
Mm,
spiritual community.
yeah.
And so I would love to have a conversation with you about what your perspective is and what your understanding is and the understanding that I've come to. And I don't claim that my understanding is correct, is the
Oh
one
no.
and true
Right.
perspective,
For
but
sure.
it's different from what most people are saying. Um, so I don't, but I just thought it'd be an interesting conversation for people to kind of hear different perspectives and kind of come to
Yeah.
their own, not conclusion per se, but their own theory of what it could
Right.
be.
Because there's so
Like,
much stigma behind words, and media just goes crazy with shit. Like what was the one a while ago? Like the twin souls and just like all these terms, and it's just like, oh, like
yeah,
you
yeah,
don't
that would be another fun conversation about twin souls and twin
for
flames
sure.
and
For
a
sure.
lot of the not only stigma but like uh, uh like stereotypes and
Yes.
assumptions
Yes.
about them.
Assumptions. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. One more. Let's see. What is the most rewarding part of being a healer?
Oh, when a client tells me that I have changed their lives and they've seen a huge shift in the way they operate, that is the meat and taters of why I do what I do. That is the biggest reinforcement for me continuing what I'm doing when I hear a client have this big aha moment and then they, either in a follow-up session because I offer programs where they can have follow-up sessions or you can just schedule it individually. You don't have to pay for a package or anything, but and they say, since I've talked to you, I've become so much more aware of this, and I've been so much better about responding differently. Like I notice that now the world is responding differently to me because I have changed how I respond to it. And I'm like, yes, oh my
Yes.
God, yes, yes. And how they're, they're much happier because they're less worried about what other people think about them, how other people are treating them, blah 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 blah. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that is absolutely my reinforcement. What is
Yeah.
yours?
Same, especially with because again, my sessions can last hours. I have other options, but like a full session could be 3 to 4 hours. And so like watching the beginning interview part and then the post interview part and just like literally seeing a light in them, just seeing a difference in their persona, their everything. And then, as you said, like whether it be a week or a month or a year later, them still holding that frequency and then thanking you for that. It's just like, ah,
Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Like it's like anyone can do it. It's just it is. It's like beyond rewarding. It's
Mhm.
beyond rewarding. It really is. Wow, Jennifer, this was an amazing conversation.
Yeah, it was. This is super
Thank you
fun.
so much. Where can people find you? I will put all your information in the descriptions with the links, but let people know.
Okay, and when I share it out, I will do the same for you. And I also, well, after I say that, I have a question for you too. But
Yeah.
and as I should have asked it earlier, but I got sidetracked. Um, so you can reach me at www.jenniferpassavant.com.
Okay.
You can find me on Facebook under Jennifer Passavant. I think it's Holistic Healer. Yep, Jennifer Passavant, Holistic Healer. Um, from my website, you can access my YouTube channel, all of my social media sites. I'm on Rumble as well. But I think my website or my Facebook page are probably the two best ways to find me.
Perfect. And again, I'll put all that information in the description for everyone who wants to see. If you'd like to work with Jennifer or with me, give it a check and we'll be there.
Okay, so my question to you is because I didn't get a chance to ask earlier, what is it? And I realize we don't have much time, but I want to make sure we work this in. What is a
Yeah.
session with you like?
It is, do you know QHHT?
Yes.
That it is kind of stemmed from that because the teacher of BQH is Candace Craw Goldman,
And
who
wasn't she a student of Dolores
like
Canon's?
her main lady, pretty
That's
much.
what that's what I
Yep.
thought. Okay.
And so, but Dolores was very old school, and so you can't do QHHT generally online. It's all like in person.
Okay.
And so Candace branched off, made BQH. And so it's very similar to QHHT. It's a past life regression, but it's just more of like an umbrella term to allow all the modalities of what the practitioner has. And so like we will have an induction part. So it's kind of like hypnosis. It's just with terms and words. I don't like I'm a hypnotherapist, I know. But
Which is true, but it's like a way of facilitating meditation. Like
yes, it
hypnosis and
is. So it's
meditation are the
essentially
same
just
thing.
a guided meditation.
Yeah.
I'm right there through you. I say it's like an ayahuasca trip, but sober. Like,
Uh-huh. That's
so
actually accurate.
so each one is very unique. So it's hard to explain how it is because it's just a self exploration journey of you. We can go to the past life, other dimension. You can talk to your galactics, your higher self. It's just tailored to whatever the client needs, really. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating field. It really is.
That is fascinating. That's very
Yeah.
cool. And I will say I have had past life regression. It was I mean it's Akashic record reading, which is
Yeah.
exactly what you're
Same.
doing. It's like the
Yes.
same exact thing.
Yep.
And oh my God, is it profound. And there was me heaving and sobbing in the practitioner's chair. But I tell you what, folks, it was life changing.
Yeah. A lot of the times the clients are just crying most of the time, honestly.
Like the best way. It's like such
That's
a healing, releasing
it's
cry. It's
yes.
so good.
Yes. Yes, like generations of tears are coming out. It's not just yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, I'm getting tingles just thinking about it. Okay, I want to make sure you were able to get that in before we go to
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
and I too, when I post the video, I will put all of your information below. So
Perfect. Perfect. All right. Well, we're going to sign out here. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we will talk soon.
be well.